Hey, you're listening to the She Did That podcast, where we highlight women of color who embody leadership, empowerment, and commitment to their community through entrepreneurship and social action. Here's where ferocity, fun, and facts all live in harmony. So stay tuned because, again, you're listening to the She Did That podcast. Alrighty, so welcome to She Did That, the new podcast regarding women's empowerment, leadership, entrepreneurship, social action, and all things great for women of color. Right now we have Regina Hudson, who is an exemplary woman of color out here in our community, in Springfield specifically. And I just wanted to highlight her great work that she's doing with Lady Soldiers, which is an incredible book and an incredible mission. So, Regina, would you kind of want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. And thank you so much for having me. This is actually my first podcast, I think. So I appreciate it. I'm excited. So I am the founder of Lady Soldiers. So Lady Soldiers is a movement, but it's also a book that is going to be released in July, August. So one of those, July, August 2020. But it's a movement as well because it's all about, again, woman empowerment. So Lady Soldiers. So, seeing women and, looking at women, we look so, we're beautiful, we're delicate, but yet behind all of that is strength, is, overcoming obstacles and so many different things. So that's kind of where the name came about, Lady Soldiers. So, I'm just really excited for this. So the book is short stories of different women. So short stories of different women and the things that they have overcome, but also motivational because it tells you again how we overcame those obstacles. So some, different things are, cancer, single motherhood, miscarriage, low self-esteem. So just many different topics. So it's just really a reminder that one, and it's actually our slogan, we are stronger together. So we as women, we are stronger together. But two, it's also just a reminder that, we are more than our outside appearance. So, that's basically the mission of Lady Soldiers, to really just spread awareness.
Uh-oh. I think you muted yourself.
And the book will be released July, August 2020. So I mean, it's nerve-wracking kind of publishing, your life or pieces of your life. But we're gonna do it, and hopefully we can really impact, what we're hoping, really just impact the world with our stories and, with speaking our truth.
True. I mean, we need to hear more of that. And speaking of stories, tell me about yours. Tell me about what brought you to this place. Like, who is Regina and what brought her to sharing other people's stories in this way?
Right. So again, I'm born and raised in Springfield, Mass, so I really just think of myself as that everyday girl. I honestly, I talk about it in the book as well. I kind of always felt like the oddball, I was always super smart. I was in advanced classes. I'm very petite. For those who don't know me, it's funny, people see me and they're like, oh, wow, like you're tiny. I was like, yes, I am. So I'm very petite. I'm 4'11", thank you, yes. So I'm 4'11", but even, in childhood and in my young adolescent years, I didn't have the greatest skin. So I kind of went through that low self-esteem period and insecure, and I would get made fun of, and so I was just that girl who didn't have, again, high self-esteem. And then, but it's interesting because that kind of created a cycle, to be honest, of negative situations, bad relationships. I got myself into these situations because of the insecurities and the low self-esteem. And I talk about that in the book, but then, I talk about self-love and kind of learning how to love yourself. But, after all the toxic relationships and negativity, negative mindset, I did end up becoming a single mom. So that was kind of the peak, to be honest. And going through domestic violence and, just so many different kind of situations, but it brought me to this point, where I was like, I don't want to be that girl anymore. I feel like I began to kind of blossom, step out of my comfort zone. I began public speaking and volunteering and just being very active. It was almost to the point where it was like, all right, slow down, but it was good because I was building my esteem and I was building, my public speaking skills and connections and, again, so really just blooming. Kind of like 2 years have passed, of me stepping out of my comfort zone, and it brings me here to, realizing like, wait, I know I'm not the only one who has had low self-esteem. I'm not the only one who has been through domestic violence. I'm not the only one who has been through toxic relationships. I'm not the only one who is a single mom. I'm not the only one who struggles, mentally or whatever the case. So that's where really this whole movement came about, and really saying again, we are stronger together as women. So that's kind of what brings me here today, and really trying to push this movement and advertising for the book, and really hoping that it will be a success. Also, just to mention, the book is short stories, but there will be some poems, there will be some drawings. So we really want people, when you're reading it, when you're looking at the drawings, to just be able to kind of relate to it, but also, appreciate the creativity, we have artists that are submitting drawings into the book. And these are, upcoming artists. So, we hope that people really accept and approve of that concept that we are stronger together.
Yes, we are definitely stronger together. And I love hearing your story because I think that it's so inspiring and so relatable. And that's so key, especially for inspiring others and creating community, is like, facilitating, conversations about things that people can relate on. And one of the things that really stuck with me was your focus on self-love and, self-care. Is there anything that you do, like, to kind of keep yourself in that positive space that you just hold very sacred to yourself to keep you going?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, and again, with being a single mom and things like that, and, and dealing with everything though that I'm still dealing with, I really do value my alone time when I get it. So, meditating, even, today I sat outside and I did some work, and I was able just to, it actually was calming, literally just to sit outside. So I definitely, appreciate, like the meditation and the time for yourself. I don't feel like, especially moms, but, some people such as yourself, just working so hard and things like that, we need that time to kind of, I don't know the exact word, but diffuse and relax and, just really take some time to, process things and again, just relax. So I really say that is, I think, the thing that I do most often. I'm getting myself onto, and, I don't want people to think like, oh, well, she's the founder of Lady Soldiers and whatever the case, that I'm perfect, because I'm completely not perfect. And I'm a work in progress myself. But that's why this movement is also so passionate for me, because, we all can heal together. And that's something else that we mentioned in the book. We can heal together, we can grow together. So that's really, that's what I wanted to mention. Affirmations. We actually started a challenge. And again, we're very busy and things like that, but we started a 30-day challenge of affirmations. So we released the first set. So we did 7 days. We released the first set for the first week, and, writing down an affirmation, a different affirmation every day. And you write it down 25 times. And as you write it, you speak it. Because and even myself, and a lot of this comes from what I've been through or who I was. But negative self-talk is very common. And that's something that I had to learn to not do, or to not think. So, affirmations help with that. So that's kind of why we started the challenge. So while it's helping me, it's helping, hopefully our followers, our readers, and, the community. So that's kind of the next step that we were on, is the affirmation challenge. And so that's another kind of form of self-love.
Yes, I love the fact that you brought up your affirmation challenge, because it's actually one thing that I have been doing. I saw that post and I was like, I'm going to do it. I have sticky notes that I've been writing my affirmations down. I put them on my wall next to my desk. I look at them before I start my work day, and it's been transformative. I love it. It's how I co-sign myself, saying, hey, yep, you got this. You can keep on doing things. And honestly, it's what leads to great things. So like, thank you for that inspiration, because without that, I probably wouldn't even been starting this podcast, because it's motivated me to stay on track, to keep going, to keep my spirits up, keep my head focused on the things that matter in life. So yeah, definitely. You go ahead.
I'm so glad that you participated, though. That's great. I'm glad you saw it and you were like, you know what, I need to do it too, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to motivate other people, to be more positive and kind of take that next step. So I'm glad that you joined, and that's great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. And I think the one thing that I want to just get from this interview too is, what has been the best advice, that you have received in your lifetime? Like, what is something that you have heard from someone and you said, yep, that is something that I'm going to stick to?
Oh, good question. And I have to think. Best advice that I've received from someone. I mean, I think I've actually heard it a couple times, to be honest. I have a lot of friends too who are actually very spiritual. A lot of my friends too, to be honest, are older than me, which to me is great, because, they're wiser, they're, whatever the case. But really, honestly, a lot of them tell me just trust God. And, not that, to be honest, I'm not that religious, but I do believe. But so it's either, for anybody who's listening, trust God, or at least have faith. Have faith in the positive, have faith in, manifesting what you can create, have faith in, being positive. So really just trust God and just, let go. Because, I am that type of person, I'm an empath. So I'm very emotional. So I sometimes have to snap out of it, which is hard for me sometimes. So, I need that reminder sometimes, just let it go and just, be positive. So I think that's actually the best advice that I've had, because, being positive will create positive. So.
True. And with that, because you have lived some years and you have experienced so much, and your story is so critical, what would be your best advice to either your younger self or to someone who is of the younger generation?
So for someone else, the advice that I would give to them, I guess I'm gonna have to resort back to that self-love aspect, because to me, that's what created, my journey, but was the fact that I didn't have that and I didn't know how to do that. And to me, too, like, we don't really teach. We don't teach self-love. We don't teach respect, and we don't teach, relationships. You don't really learn that in school, and you're not getting it at home. Then, so I think my advice would be to someone else is just, know your worth, love yourself, find a way. You got to find a way to love yourself. You got to find a way to look in the mirror and be happy with that person in the mirror, because, if you don't love yourself, you can't expect someone else to, because, if you don't love yourself, if you don't respect yourself, no one else will, basically. So I think that's the best advice that I could give someone, because when when you love yourself the right way, you will blossom, you will bloom, you will, the opportunity is endless. So.
True. Oh, these are some awesome answers, and I hope that there are tons of girls who are out there listening and like really taking this to heart because, like, there is so much on the other side once you get there. Once you start to embark on that journey, there is so much for you to like,
Right.
experience and love about who you are and what you bring to this world. Is there anything that is like your driving force right now? I know that we've talked a lot about mantras and affirmations and things like that, but what really is your motivation for doing all that you do?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's definitely my son. Being a parent, you want to make your child proud. You want to kind of set the path for them. And even, in these crazy times that we are living in, I also want to show him, you can be an entrepreneur, or you can follow your dreams. You have purpose more than, working for someone, 9 to 5 for your whole entire life and not pursuing your passion. That really, I mean, that's honestly something that I kind of live by. I've worked since I was 15 years old. I worked for someone, and I think I just got to the point where I was like, oh, this is not it. Like, I at least want to try. I want to try to build my own and, become my own brand and, step out of the comfort zone, step out of the norm, try to be different and, again, follow your dreams. So, that's definitely kind of what drives me, so definitely my son and kind of showing him growth as well. I don't want him to, because he knows mom and he knows, some things, and, mommy, why isn't daddy here and things like that. So one day I want him to see like, oh, wow, like, we have a great life. Mommy has built a great life. So I think that, and definitely, something else that I mentioned in the book, which is somewhat related, is purpose. I really do believe that everybody on this planet has a purpose. And if you don't fulfill that purpose, you're not maximizing your full potential. You're not reaching that point that you are supposed to reach. So that's what pushes me as well. And, even I was actually thinking about this today, kind of thinking back and thinking about, your family and generations. And as well as generational curses. It's a cycle. So single motherhood is a cycle in my family. Domestic violence is a cycle in my family, for women. Other things as well. So I'm like, it's time to break that, and I hope that happens for me and for other women. So I just, just really just being mindful of where we are in the world today and what your purpose is and fulfilling that purpose.
Nice. So, speaking of purpose, what do you feel your purpose in this world is?
I think it's kind of what we're doing right now, just being real, being me. Again, because of the self-esteem and the insecurities, it was kind of hard for me to do that back in the day, because I was scared, and I didn't have that full self-esteem. But now that I do, I'm just like, hey, like, but it's always in a humble way. I always, want to uplift other women. I want them to be just like me and be able to, again, share their story. Because, in my opinion, when you share your story, you're impacting someone. Somebody's listening, who probably felt the same way that you felt or has been through the same things that you have. Or someone who was maybe on that path, but because you shared your story, maybe they will learn and won't go down that path. So I kind of think that is my purpose, just to, inspire, motivate, uplift. It's not always specific for women. I want the same for men. But I know that as a woman, we do go through similar things. You know, again, we are stronger together. We are lady soldiers. You know, I feel like, again, you look at me and you'd see a petite, you know, woman, but then you read my story and you'll be like, oh, wow, you know, and so, you know, and some people have said like, oh, you're so tiny, but you're so powerful. And I'll be like, oh, well, thank you. So, you know, so again, just, you know, be you and, you know, embrace it and, you know, share it. You know, I feel like too, we kind of hide behind the exterior. And, you know, that's kind of the problem, you know, one of the problems in this world is that you got to be perfect. You know, you gotta always have your nose up in the air, and you gotta have the money, and you gotta, you know. So I just be you and own it. I think that's my purpose.
Yes. Being unapologetically yourself is purpose enough. Like, I mean, that's like you said, that's what you bring to the world. And that's what everyone should bring to the world because that's what makes this world so dynamic, you know? And I also want to point out that you not only do Lady Soldiers, but you have tons of cats in the community. You like, I mean, your resume is probably like 10 pages long because you are Miss Community and I love it. Would you like to kind of speak to that a little bit too about your community service and the different jobs, accomplishments that you've had so far?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I really, again, that whole 2 years ago was really that time frame where I just kind of started stepping out the box. You know, I actually found a networking group. I guess I'll name them, you know, Association of Black Business and Professionals. I absolutely love the group. So I ended up, you know, seeing, and actually, I think seeing a flyer, and, you know, social media is so powerful, I have to add, but I saw a flyer on social media. It was like a networking event, and there were also some speakers, and I was like, you know what, I should go. And I ended up going, and literally, it like sparked something. So that's why too, I always tell people like, step out of your comfort zone, you know, do something different. You know, you don't always have to go to the club, you know, you don't always have to go to the mall, like do something different, you know, network with professionals, you know, network with people who are smarter than you. You know, learn, you know, you got to put yourself into, you know, different rooms, and different tables, to grow. So, you know, so I joined that organization, and it just ignited something. And I also joined another community organization. You know, I really became active with them, and you know, we were focused on quality of education and children. You know, so just really active, and you know, I hosted many events, and events for the community, motivational, and events for women, you know, and sometimes they would be fun events, game nights, and networking nights. And what else did I do? I did a photo shoot night. So, you know, but that's why it's all kind of spiraled into something where, okay, now I want to impact on a broader scale. You know, now I want to write a book. You know, now I really want to create a movement. But with that being said, you know, and being a single mom and things like that, I actually have somewhat stepped back a little bit, from the community work, because it's, you know, when you really get in it, it's a lot. It's a lot to be a leader. It's a lot to volunteer your time. You know, it's just a lot. So I have stepped back some. But I do recommend, like, to me, everybody, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, you know, everybody should at least once a month complete a couple hours of community service. You know, I truly believe in that. So, you know, that's basically the community stuff, and, you know, event hosting, and again, just stepping out of my comfort zone. And, you know, and it all goes back to that too, where, you know, we all have a story, we all have a purpose. So, you know, fulfill that purpose, you know, help people, you know, do some community service, tell your story.
Cool. Yes. I love hearing that. And honestly, that is like the best way to almost close out our interview. I wanted to make it really quick. Um, And I think, do you have any last words, for our viewers? And um, yeah, just anything inspirational. I know that you have anything you would like to promote. Again, Lady Soldiers, the book is coming out in July 2020. So that is like next month. So
Love
where
that.
can we find it? Like, how can we get in touch with you?
Mhm. Yeah, so you can go to theladysoldiers.com. That's our website. So theladysoldiers.com is our website. We're on Facebook at Lady Soldiers. We're on YouTube at Lady Soldiers. And we're at Instagram at Lady Soldiers Worldwide. So, we're on social media, we're on YouTube, and our website is theladysoldiers.com. Please subscribe to the website so that we can add you to the email list and let you know about promotions and updates. And I mean, just to mention again too, this book, so there's 5 authors. So 5 different women, 5 different stories. But there's also, we have some people who have actually, financially sponsored us. So a piece of their story will be in the book as well. Some 2 nonprofits, as well as, 2 nonprofits, a fitness trainer, an educational advocate, as well as, I think that was it, but we may have an owner of a boutique, and these are all Springfield, Mass individuals, but actually, one of them, I think, just recently moved to Georgia. So, we have artists in the book, so, it's really just about women and empowerment. That's what we're all about. So, I mean, I guess the inspirational thing that I can last say is, again, we are stronger together. And everybody is important. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a purpose. So, just embrace it and appreciate it and love yourself. The sky is the limit.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us and joining the She Did That community. And we are so looking forward. Yes, we did it. We out here. Thank you for being my first guest as well. And bearing with me and being patient with me. Women like you is what makes the world go round and gives me inspiration to keep doing what I'm doing. And I'm so proud to have you as part of my network. Also, fun fact, Regina and I friended each other, or at least followed each other on LinkedIn. Didn't meet each other until I happened to go to like a speaking event or at a school for my other job, and we were just like, I think we know each other, and we were like, oh yeah, we added each other on LinkedIn. And then we just kind of kept each other in the loop since then. And honestly, that speaks to how putting yourself out there and being genuinely you and being good people leads to awesome results and awesome networks. And you are who you surround yourself with. So I thank you so much for being a part of the crew that pours into me. And I hope that your stories, the stories of the other women and lady soldiers, will also pour into and really cultivate the next woman leaders in our community and inspire them to do great things and be great. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will keep in contact. And I will link everything, Lady Soldiers Worldwide, all of the social media tags, everything in the description below, and they will also be highlighted on the screen. So thank you so much and have a great day and stay safe out there.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.